Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Tinker O'Toole again with another video. Today we're going to talk about how to properly set up your grinder so that the left teeth and the right teeth are the same length. Because what can happen, you can get variation very, very easily. This system here, the backstop, has no way of measuring how much that you grind off your tooth. In fact, there is no way that you will ever know how much you're grinding off your tooth unless you actually count the taps and you set it up properly. Now, to set it up properly, when you bring the wheel down, have it so that the wheel comes down, but when it's touching the bottom, you can't move this wheel. So when the wheel bottoms out on the bottom of the tooth, you'll have trouble with this. So the best thing to do to set it up is just turn the adjusting knob so that the wheel spins free like that. So the adjusting knob's the one that's at the back there. It sets the height. So once you've got it spinning free like that, just spinning, then it's a matter of just have it so that this barely touches. Okay, you can see that that's barely touching. Like, look at that. So, okay, now that that's barely touching, you lock that in a position, you bring this down, and then you release the backstop so that it's back in its original position, and you'll find out the wheel won't even move now because it's touching the bottom of the tooth. So when setting that up, now what you will find out now that you'll be able to tap that about 7 or 8 times, and you need to duplicate that on every single tooth. If you adjust this backstop so that this wheel goes too far into the wheel, you could be grinding 60 or 70 taps before the grinding wheel will cease to grind off metal. So it is very important that when you set this up that it barely touches, because if it's touching too much, you're going to end up, you can grind too much metal off. So you want it so that it's barely touching, and you want to bring that down about 6 or 7 times on each tooth. On a brand new chain, I'll get a digital vernier. Brand new chain on a 3/8 chain will be approximately, the length of the tooth will be about 10 millimeters. I'll probably grind off about 0.3 of a mil, and that'll probably be about 6 or 7 taps, short duration, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I'll examine the tooth. If it needs 8 or 9, whatever the amount is, I'll count that, and then I'll do the same on each tooth. If you do it that way, you will find out that the grinding wheel will remove the same amount of metal. If you don't count the taps, then you could end up removing up to 0.5 millimeter, if not more. And if you have the backstop so it's pushing too much into the grinding wheel, you're going to take off too much metal, and your teeth could be all over the place. Then when you go to the right-hand side, if you don't watch what you're doing, the same thing's going to apply. And then by the time you've sharpened the chain 3-4 times, you could be more than 1 millimeter out on your teeth. Your teeth could be all over the place. So the technical tip is that you barely have the tooth touching the wheel with the backstop. You can always give it a fraction a little bit more if it's not enough. But if you give it too much, you're going to grind off too much. So that's the thing. Don't adjust the backstop so that the tooth is touching the wheel too much, because you'll grind too much metal off. And if you grind too much metal off and you don't count your taps and the duration of the taps the same, so the whole idea here is to keep the duration the same amount of taps, and then you'll find out that you'll grind the same amount of metal off each tooth, left and right, and your problems will be over. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.